celebrating 16 years of Young Turks.
Welcome back to this special edition of Young Turks. We come to you from San Francisco, where we are bringing you all the action from the Google Launchpad Accelerator program. Now, there are 6 Indian startups that have come down to San Francisco to be part of this 2-week on-ground incubation. I'm going to chat with one of them right now. The company is called India Lens. They are Delhi-based, and what they essentially do is underwrite credit to people like you and me that might not essentially find easy bank loans coming our way. So let's go down and let's talk to them and figure out what they've been up to. Hi guys, how are you all?
How are you? We were working together in London for a bank called Capital One, and Gaurav moved back to India, I think 2012, late 2012. Early 2014 is when he called me. He said, I'm looking to start something. Do you know anyone who'd like to move back? At that point, I was talking to him, I said, why not me?
So Capital One was essentially trying to lend to the masses, and they were doing this by using additional data about the customer. We are trying to do the same in India, which is saying that trying to help more people to get a loan from the banks and NBFCs.
Because people are using cell phones, they leave a large digital footprint that we are then able to leverage to understand some of the parameters that we want to look at. Traditionally, when you look at underwriting by banks, there is an underwriter evaluating applications manually. So they're looking at a large number of documents. What we've been able to bring to the table for the banks is a lot of automation in these processes, in saying that how you guys can automate looking at bank statements, how you can automate looking at, let's say, credit bureau data, and how we can bring it all together in being able to understand the risk difference between 2 individuals. Google is the leader in machine learning technology, artificial intelligence technology. But outside of that, I think the program has been very useful for us from the perspective of just being able to scale a technology startup.
There's been a big focus on HR practices, hiring the right talent, how to, after hiring the right talent, how to make sure they take up leadership positions. So we've been able to speak to a lot of Google leaders and leaders from outside Google who are mentors to us.
The problem of dealing with difficult employees who aren't meeting deadlines, who create a negative environment in the company. How would you solve for this? The first thing is, are the expectations clear? Now that sounds very simple, but really many people, when they look at an employee that's difficult and that's not delivering, they will be quick to say that they just don't have the skills for it. Well, chances are, if you haven't given them that feedback, if you haven't been explicit about the expectations of the role, chances are that's the number one problem. The next thing you would check for, before you check on skill, is you would first check on motivation as a second step. Do they actually care to do the work? Do they see that this role actually contributes to their own personal career goals in the long term? Then the last thing you would check for would be skill. Do they have the knowledge? Do they have the capabilities, the skills to do the work? Now, if you decide that they don't have the skill, then you might do a few things that will not cost you a dime. You might pair them up with someone who does the work really excellently and have this person mentor them very closely for a period of a few weeks.
And one startup that is bringing the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning to connect the right person with the right job is Edge Networks. Founded in 2012, the venture today uses semantic analysis and predictive modeling to make not just hiring easy, but also manage talent at large enterprises like Wipro.
We started the company in 2012, and the genesis of the company is to match people to jobs. And I think the key factor is we wanted to be able to read a resume, read a job description like the human brain, right? We found that to be a global problem, and we found that to be everyone's problem, right? We built an application and we took it out to Wipro, and we said, listen, you hire in volumes, would this be interesting to you? One of the things that was critical to the organization itself is the pivot that Wipro brought us into. They said, you're going to acquire talent and you're going to speed up that process, but I think the difference is, can you do this for our employees? can you actually look at unstructured information within the organization that could range from performance appraisal information to work experience summaries to project experience summaries to courses and certifications. Could you bring it from disparate systems? Could you analyze the unstructured information and bring us one version of the truth? So not only are we able to optimize workforces internally, if we can't find a person internally, we're able to acquire the talent externally using an automated machine to ensure that that process is quality controlled. We have gone through 22 million resumes, about 9 million of them being unique resumes. We have gone through about 3.9 million job descriptions, right? And the way we've built our neural network at the back end is a lot more classified than it ever was. So imagine now going after enterprise customers and giving them this value proposition. Not only are you making money, but you're improving value across, again, a large employee base. Okay. Now build an SMB product on top of that, and you've got this value proposition that can easily peter down. So when you hand out the small and medium business product, you're able to quality control the value proposition much better because you've got a lot of learning that you can transfer.
There are some unique challenges for machine learning based startups. First, I would like to start with the product strategy challenges. Turns out that lean startup methodologies doesn't really apply or work for machine learning based startups. It takes about a year or 2 years to get enough data to be able to provide insights and lots of value using machine learning. There are a lot of subdomains under machine learning. It's a big word. You can't compare a company that is doing NLP, natural language processing, and a company that is doing computer vision. And even if you look at the computer vision, there are companies that are doing object detection, like we have here Recipe Book. You snap a picture and they will automatically recognize ingredients in this picture. So that's one technology. So the technology depth that you need to go to is extremely deep. One trick that we found out, in some cases, if you bring a mentor who is really good at one subdomain and you connect it with a startup that is doing a completely different thing, they can learn one from the other and apply mathematical models that people are using in one subdomain, like in NLP, over computer vision. And that became really helpful.
And that's exactly what this team based in Kochi has done. Their app, Recipe Book, is built on deep learning computer vision technology and uses natural language processing to simplify recipe discovery and cooking.
We are working on something else. Recipe Book wasn't our primary product. So we're working on something called visual search on e-commerce. At the same time, we were staying together in an apartment. We had this typical cooking issues. And Nikhil came out with an idea, why don't we try this computer vision for discovering recipes? That was the starting point. And we uploaded this thing on the store and Google recognized us with editor's choice. So we use something called deep learning computer vision in the background for recognizing food items. So we are manually trained around 700 ingredients in the system and we're getting good number of images from users. So far we have around 3 million downloads and around 1.5 million images have been uploaded by our users. So the same images has been reused for retraining our system.
Getting the talent in our place, like Kochi and also in Bangalore, it's difficult, it's more difficult. So what we are doing is like, we have some friends here, so Nikhil recruit them and give us basic training and they will do the work. Our next phase is to register the company in US and to acquire more talents from here.
So for us, one good thing happened to us is that since we are from Cochin, we didn't have access to all those fancy investors and all those things. So from the day one, we have been trying to bootstrap. So we had a revenue coming from advertisement, which is enough for a small team to sustain. Thankfully, we got right mentors here in the Launchpad program. So they're helping us to set up the right strategies for getting out to the market, both in the B2C and the B2B side.
With that, it's a wrap on this very special edition of Young Turks. Tell us what you thought of the program. You can write to us at youngturks@nw18.com. You can also ping us on Facebook and on Twitter. It was a pleasure bringing you this show. And till next time, goodbye and thanks for watching.
Celebrating 16 years of Young Turks.